the Sleep is a Skill, which is a company, you're the founder and the CEO of, is a company that optimize gadgets and to optimize people's sleep. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about it?
Okay, great. And thank you so much for having me here. This is awesome. I love your segments, conversations with experts. They're always eye-opening. So a couple of things. So yes, my name is Molly McLaughlin. I own a company called Sleep is a Skill that helps people optimize their sleep through technology, accountability, behavioral change. And it's so great to see all these people on here. Yay!
Yes.
Yes.
Prepare your questions, everybody.
Yes. This is great. I'm like looking, speaking. So I'm incredibly passionate about this topic because this was really born out of solving my own problem with my sleep. Because for many years I had difficulties with my sleep. I thought of myself as a bit of a, just a night owl, no big deal. That's how it is. And until it kept getting increasingly more intense, until there were points when I was going to bed as the sun was rising, birds are chirping, I'm going to sleep. And so all that, I'm still justified. I'm still righteous about it. It's okay. Until I actually went through my own period of insomnia. And that was a very eye-opening experience and felt very, very powerless because suddenly I had what felt like no real power or say over my sleep and when it would come to me, when it wouldn't, and I was at a complete and utter loss on what to do. And it was a big deal time in my life. And so because finding the power to shift out of that through bringing in technology, accountability, behavioral change, since it made such a profound difference in my life and the quality of my life now, the fact that now I get to work with other people on their sleep, online courses, podcasts, all kinds of things. And it's just been incredible. So yeah.
Beautiful. And of course, I do know you because we did take course for, I don't know, how long do we know each other? 7 years?
7 years, something like, something
like that. You've been in each other's life. You've been my client, and I saw you from one place to another and really flourish because ladies and gentlemen, this is not somebody that just talks about it, but she really delivers. She really delivers if you have any problem with sleep. She's the right person. And at the end of these segments, I'm going to tell you like a little gift that she has for each single one of us. So, Molly, why the name Sleep is a Skill? Where's it coming from?
Such a good question. And I'm really passionate about the title and the mission of the name Sleep is a Skill. So the reason for it is that, number one, I think it helps get up under a big problem that many of us have in the area of sleep, which can be these preconceived notions of whether we're just a good sleeper or a bad sleeper. Oh my God, hey Megan, so many people. So this idea that we are either ingrained or within our genes is this particular path for us, this fixed thing that shirks up against that in the area of sleep, which I think is so critical because it seems to have gotten this weird pass in that many of us think, well, it's just sort of how it is for me. I'm this way, and maybe aren't taking the time to examine that. And furthermore, so that's one part of the title and the naming. And then the second part of the title is this idea that if you think about how we relate to our sleep, truly post-Edison, so post the fact that we began to be able to extend the length of our days artificially, it's really hasn't been that long of a span of time. Whereas before that, thousands of years, we were intimately connected with the rhythms of nature. So when sun would set, besides maybe a bonfire or a couple, ways to extend our day, we were pretty much going to sleep shortly after the sun would set. And that was just how it was. Thousands of years, that was the workings. And yet in such a short blip of time, suddenly we've gone from, certainly I'll speak from my own example or experience. When I was in Manhattan, I had I couldn't even tell you when the sun would rise or set. I had no connection to that. And that is crucial for understanding our circadian rhythm and optimizing and strengthening and improving that, because it actually can be either a really strong or a weak signaling process. And the results that you get fall in alignment with that strength or weakness.
So we're saying sleep is a skill. It really is a skill nowadays to be able to sleep, because with all our time, the time management, working, I know, because for me, everything I do is around career and development. I see a lot of my clients being at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, you know, answering questions. Now, I am a night owl. I've been a night owl forever. And I think me being in the entertainment, of course, you know, at 12 o'clock, we were getting out of, at midnight, we were getting out of the theater, right? And thank God I was in fashion that you're always working. Basically, there is no timing. It's like, so for me, I would wake up and start my call with Hong Kong or with Italy or whatever it is. But the reality is, I completely get it. It's really not, it is not healthy. It really, it's a problem. So sleeping, it became a sleep to be able to go to bed and say, I'm going to fall asleep, and really fall asleep instead of, let me check my Instagram phone and all of that. And it is actually a skill. So thank you for explaining that. And Molly, I have a question for you. I just want to ask you, how can it time, you know, the time, what we eat, even the exposure to the sun, exercise, moving, how does that impact our ability to sleep and therefore our health?
Oh my God, so good. You made so many great points there, because one of the things I like to say about sleep is I like to think about it as a bit of a Trojan horse. So you go in to transform your sleep, and what you end up finding is that in order to make a lasting difference in our sleep, often we have to impact all these other areas of our life in order to get those results. So a couple key areas of our lives that are really important that we end up finding we have to shift are all under the umbrella of circadian rhythm entrainment. So just a fancy series of words of understanding that our circadian rhythm actually has a number of cues that will tell our body. We have a master clock in our brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, and within there is where it's kind of, we're keeping time. There's this, you know, the time is set right at that in that place in the brain, and yet there are many ways that we can conflict with all the time of understanding, are we on schedule or off schedule? So a couple things that will do that. Top down is light. Light is one of the most important in this conversation.
Light?
Light. Yeah. So
right,
one of
the light.
Light.